Hello everybody, I am Alpha Bird. Not quite sure whether the intro worked correctly there, hopefully it did. Welcome to my second early access video for the Storming Toulon DLC. Today we are looking at the 1EDFL. Also, thank you to Rooster. He's been a channel member for 1 month now. If you want to grab some perks like early access to videos and some exclusive videos then, and support me also to make videos, that's the important thing, then check out the channel memberships. Also, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for Storming Toulon, so you can get yourself a copy of the DLC. Head into my Discord, the link is in the description, and join the giveaway in the giveaways channel. That will be drawn on Wednesday. Release date for the DLC is Thursday, and there's also a free reinforcement DLC with changes to Army General as well, introducing Army General co-op, and also you can take 5 battalions into an Army General battle. So a few Army General updates for you. So without further ado, let's move on to 1DFL. So the 1E Division Française Libre, aka the first Free French Division, was arguably one of the most famous Allied French combat formations. Made up of free Frenchmen who refused to lay down arms after the 1940, the multinational veteran division fought numerous battles in Norway, the Middle East, North Africa and Italy before finally returning to metropolitan France with Operation Dragoon. Many different nationalities of the French colonial empire can be found with this motorized infantry battle group, from elite Légionnaires, Polynesian sailors, and North African and Senegalese Tirailleurs. The division's infantry squads are plentiful and powerful. The first Free French Division lacks AA and AT units and only has limited armoured and tank destroyer forces. Fortunately, air support is substantial due to the Free French Air Force and British carrier-borne planes. The Free French Division excels as a boots-on-the-ground battlefield thanks to its battle-hardened and versatile infantry. I don't know about you, but whenever I just read boots on the ground now, it almost feels like a meme, like it has to be in every circumstance of describing military. It's boots on the ground. Oh, it just makes me laugh whenever I read it now. What am I expecting? What am I excited to see? I'm definitely excited to see the British carrier-borne planes in the air tab, so I'm looking forward to them. And they weren't wrong about the anti-air units either, were they? 2 slots, and they're both at 2 points on cost. Here we go, lacks AA and AT units. So certainly in the AA side of things, they definitely live up to that on the activation points. Not quite sure about the anti-tank side of things. We'll find out, I guess. Into the recon, we have the Free French sidecar with the MG34. We've got the Jeep 50 cal. They've been pretty meta recently. We've got the group RFMs that come in the Ford GPA along with the what's this? The M6 Fargo. I've seen this before. I've actually used this in the early access. They've not quite got the soldier right, I don't think, on this vehicle. It doesn't look like it kind of fits on the vehicle properly, does it? I feel like they should have him sat down. But yeah, they get 2 Thompsons. Oh wait, that's the group RFM. The M6 Fargo is a 37mm AP vehicle, armed truck. So it's got 17mm of penetration. It's got a pretty decent range, 1,250 meters. 17 rounds a minute is pretty strong. The accuracy is pretty strong at 57%. So this is really a anti-half-track vehicle and an anti-kind of recon vehicle, recon spam, that kind of thing. But you don't get a hell of a lot of them, and I'm not exactly sure what you can bring this in on. So I don't think you can't use it on everything. But anyway, for those of you that love M8 rushes, then we've got plenty of M8s. Let's see. Well, I guess we've not got plenty of M8s, but we do have M8s in the division. It's a pretty well-known French vehicle. It's not a French vehicle, but it's a well-known vehicle in the French divisions. So if you like that aspect, you've definitely got them in this division. Moving back to the Fusilier Marines, they get the M1 Combines and Thompsons. Actually not too bad a unit there. They do get the smoke grenades anyway. You could use that unit, I think. I think that's a usable unit. But then we have the Commandos of Africa, I guess. D'Afrique, I think, means like of Africa, or basically the African Commandos. These guys get 4 Thompsons, 5 M1 Grands. They get the FM24-29 as an LMG and a bazooka as well. So definitely they've got the bazooka. You're going to want to be taking this unit for sure. You can get 3 of them in A phase. I think most people would take them in A phase. But depending on what's in the anti-tank tab, if you've got bazookas in the anti-tank tab, you might be able to delay these until B or C phase. We've covered the M8s. We also get the M3 Stuarts. Not too many people take that now. It did get a little bit of a buff with the range changers, but I'm still not 100% sure how good this vehicle is. But if you've got 1 slot points available, then you might want to take this vehicle. Into the infantry tab, we've got the Artilleriers, DCA, the artillery troops. 5 M1 Carbines and 7 P17s. The M1 Carbines are good. I don't think the P17s are going to be that good. And it doesn't have an LMG, but they are 15 points. You don't get a hell of a lot of them, but they aren't disheartened. And 15-point infantry is strong. Just because it's 15 points. I think we're going to see people take this card. I wouldn't say it's overwhelmingly strong, but just being 15 points, especially in B phase, I think we're going to see people take this. I'm just not sure whether this unit should be 15 points. I haven't used it yet. I haven't seen it used, but I have a thing about 15-point infantry. We got the commanders. They can come in the Tractions. They have an MAS 36 as a bolt action rifle. It just seems like a reasonable leader. You can get 4 of them for 20 points. We got the Sapeurs leader, and they've got the smoke grenade. I'm not sure whether the leaders have changed. You know, I think I said in the previous video there should be a change on the leaders, but I don't think they maybe have changed. But there was definitely some talk about leaders changing, so it'll be interesting to find out. And then we got the TIR Pioneers. Now, these have just got the P17 and the satchel charge. These actually are still useful. I mean, at 20 points, you kind of think they don't have an LMG, they don't have that great weaponry, but you put this in a heavy forest with 3 TNT shells, and you're going to trade well with Pioneers. You're probably going to lose them, but you'll trade pretty much 1 for 1 with a Pioneer team. And the fact that these are 20 points and most Pioneer squads are 25 points really gives you an advantage here. And you can get 9 of these, where the Pioneers, I think, are limited to 5 in A phase. Do we have a standard Pioneer? We don't. So yeah, I definitely still think these are good units, despite on the face of it not looking that good. And you get a lot of slots here, and the slot cost is really advantageous. We've got the Tirailleurs AEF, which is the African Expeditionary Force, I would guess. These are 20-point infantry. Again, you know, it's strong. They do get the LMG, so I think these are going to be worthwhile. You get 3 cards of them, A, B, and C phase. I can definitely see those guys being taken. We also have the Tirailleurs AFN, which I don't know what that stands for. So the difference, they're equipped with Sten guns. They got 2 Sten guns versus 1 Thompson. The Thompson's going to be the better choice. I think these are naval troops, I would guess. I might be wrong about that. But yeah, as far as I see it, I would prefer the Thompson, the single Thompson, to 2 Sten guns. We've got the Chocks Commando Rifle Squad. They've got a pretty cool armband on them. I kind of like the look of them. They've got Willie Pete. So they are going to be good in the forests again, because they are kind of like a Molotov cocktail. And you've got 9 of them at 2 stars in A phase. So although you've got like 3 vet basically on this squad, 6 stens and 3 M1 carbines, these are going to be really strong in forests. I think these are going to be strong in forests. So definitely this division looks strong as far as I'm concerned in heavy forests. I mean, I know they are an infantry division, but they do look strong in heavy forests. Here we go. Here's the standard Pioneer squad. So this... Okay, well, this is not the standard Pioneer squad because it gets a bazooka, but you know, the French, they love the bazookas. But yeah, you compare this to the TIR Pioneers, and these will generally trade about 1 for 1. The Sapeurs would come out on top because they've got extra men, but if they throw the satchel chargers at the same time, the Sapeurs squad is going to be left with about 3-4 men left on it. So it's half a squad, not as usable. I definitely think there's a place for these 20-point Pioneers. At least that's what it looks like to me. Right, we've actually missed out the commandant, the leader BIMP, which just looks like a smoke leader. So nothing kind of too nothing too unique is what I'm kind of trying to say. But they are 2 stars, and you've got 3 of them, so that is pretty good. And you don't normally get 3 2-star leaders. What haven't we? You get so many different infantry units. What else haven't we covered here? The Sapeurs, we briefly looked at. These are bazookas with satchel charges. You're definitely going to be taking these. And you get 2 cards of them as well. I mean, I say you're definitely going to be taking them. You get a hell of a lot of infantry choices here. You get too many choices to fill out the entire infantry kind of lineup. So you are going to have to make some difficult decisions, I think. We get the BIMP. We'll focus on the BIMP Tranape, I guess. The leader, the ace, the divisional ace. The BIMP squads get the bazooka on them, so you get infantry with bazooka, and we know infantry with bazookas are just really strong. You get 2 cards of them because you get the normal BIMP, and then you get the ace BIMP. We also get the leader Tirailleurs with the sniper and the bazooka and smoke. I definitely think you're going to be taking these as leaders. I mean, you've got so many great units to use. You've also got the leader Legion units that are fanatical, so they won't surrender. They've also got the bazooka. They've also got smoke. There are also a 7-man squad with grease guns and M1 carbines. Man, the French infantry is really strong in this division from the looks of it. We've got the Free French maquisards, which are Commando rifle squads. They've got Molotov cocktails, so again, they're going to be good in the forests. But other than that, I think 30 points looks kind of expensive for this as a unit, but I'm definitely not going to suggest that they should be less, because you've got some really whacked out infantry elsewhere in the tab. I think if you're on a map like Zell, you want to be taking these. When you've got competitive infantry, competitive games where you know the map ahead of time, and you're on a heavy forest map like Zell, I would be adding these in. But if you're not on a heavy forest map, I might not take these because they're 30-point infantry, and I think you get the same bang for a cheaper buck elsewhere in the infantry tab. Then we've got 4 squads of Légionnaires, which I assume are French foreign Légionnaires. These get the 2 BARs, and BAR looks strong. I think the BAR is already in other divisions, but it looks strong. And you get 4 frag grenades. You get 4 TNT chargers. Man, this French infantry has got some French bias in it. I'm not going to lie. Eugene are a French developer. They've got some French bias in this infantry tab. 4 satchel charges on the Legionnaires, and you get 4 squad. Man, these in heavy forests, this division, this is going to dominate this is going to dominate. I think there are, if you've got an aggressive player like a Nilla, Gonzo, maybe El Bowser, maybe not so much El Bowser because I think he prefers kind of vehicles and armored playstyle to an infantry playstyle, but maybe someone like Nilla, I think would really like this division. It looks like the infantry are very strong. The one thing I would say about it is I think most of the transports are a little bit slower than you normally get. Looks like they get access to a lot of GMCs. There's also a few half tracks, but they're not too many half tracks. So you aren't going to come under heavy half track spam, but some of the GMC trucks are a little bit slower. So they might take a little bit of a moment to get a little bit extra time to get to the front line, but I don't think that's really going to matter for someone like a Nilla, honestly. So yeah, we got the 4 Legionnaires cards. We've got the Commander Legionnaire that's got the bazooka. I think these look pretty strong. They're a 7-man leader. I mean, 7-man leaders are strong. They're fanatical. They get the bazooka. They get smoke. And the M1 carbine's a pretty good gun as well. So they can handle themselves in close quarters combat. Strong leader, but they are pretty heavily priced. So yeah, there is that as a downside. But honestly, I think I would be taking these. We also get access to the cool bearded units, the Legionnaire Sapeurs-Pionniers, I would guess is the translation really. Double flamethrower. So this is a double flamethrower unit that's fanatical. Man, was I talking about heavy forest, being strong in heavy forest, or what? Is this division like the first the first Free French division? Was this like born in a forest? Did they live in forest huts for their entire lives? They never ventured out of a forest? Because this just looks like the most ridiculous heavy forest fighting division I've ever seen in the infantry tab. It really is. These guys are going to be just so good in those forests. Just fight everywhere in the forests. Don't go out of the forests. That's what it looks like with this division. Let's finally move into the tank tab. We spent so long looking at the infantry unit, but honestly, like every single card is pretty unique in that infantry division, in that infantry tab. Onto the tank tab, we get the M3A1 Stuarts. I'm not going to dwell on those too long. We get the M5A1 Stuarts. I do love the divisional icons. I think they are new for this DLC. You do get a few more of the M5s over the M3s. I guess the M3 are the leader variants of the Stuarts. We get one card of M10s. And we get one card of M4A4s, which I don't think we get many M4A4s before. I don't know why. The A4 is making me feel like we don't get many of those variants of Shermans. I'm not actually 100% sure about that. So just moving back briefly, I think you're probably going to take all 3 cards of these. So I think most people will take the Stuarts. You can get 16 of these in B phase, so I think actually this is not a bad shout for a B phase tank. You are losing out on that A phase kind of tank. I guess if you're going an aggressive Vanguard or Maverick, you might want the A phase tank, but 16 of these is not to snuff your nose at. We got the M10 tank destroyer. So these things can fire at 1,750 meter range. They get the AP shell with 130 mils of penetration. So they don't get the APCR, the special HVAP ammunition, I think it was. They don't get that. Look at they've really stepped up the models, haven't they, with the text going on here now as well. So that looks like the actual miles per hour that it will drive at. Isn't that interesting? I wonder whether that was that's just really interesting to me that they have that printed on the back. I guess it's to recognize the max speed of that, so you know how fast it can drive if you're not familiar with the vehicle and you're following it. And it's even got the I guess the identifying vehicle number on the front. That's yeah, that's just really interesting. Really interesting. We start to see the models being filled out with the tank shells inside. And obviously the soldier on the top as well with a unique uniform on it. I think this is a new uniform for this DLC. Anyway, back to the actual units. You don't get many tanks, so this is going to be a difficult choice about where you take this. I guess it depends on the anti-tank tab as well, but I think we could see these being taken in A phase. 65 points is cheaper than a Sherman. So depending on your income as well, you've got to think about, you know, when you bring your cheap units in and your expensive units. So the Char M4A4, look at this on the back. They've got some, I was about to say there's some milk, but I don't think it's milk. I think it's lubricants and oil and yeah, like lubricant for the parts, I guess, would be my guess. And would that be water in there? Because I'm guessing that's not, there's no way that's enough for a petrol, you know, gasoline tank. And there's the kit right next to it, so I'm guessing that's like for water for the crew. Anyway, yeah, the tank looks really good. I love the markings. I really do like the markings that they've put on this. I don't know whether it's just because they're French, and obviously being a French developer, they're going to know a lot more about the French markings. They'll have researched that for their own interests a lot more. Or whether it's a thing now that all DLCs, they're able to put a bit more time into marking up the tanks with historical unit markings a bit better. I don't know. Oh, hopefully that just tap the mic there. We've got the M3 gun, 90mm of penetration, 100mm of frontal armor. I don't think there's anything too special about this Sherman, but yeah, it's a Sherman. You are going to want to take it. Into the support tab. So we got the M1919A4 Legion. They can come in the 4 GPA, and you've got tons of jeeps. So you are going to be able to get into the battlefield very fast with your supporting vehicles. We have the M1917 A1s, which are the water-cooled machine guns. I believe they're water-cooled, although the actual other part of it isn't there. I think it's water-cooled, the barrel. Limited knowledge, not 100% sure. We got the Obusier M8s as your HE tank, your kind of HE Stuart. I think there is a place for these. 1,500 meters at 30 points is pretty cheap. I definitely think there's a place for these. We got the DMA logistics. We got the GMC supplies. We got the 50 cows. They can come in a half track. We have the M3 howitzers. These howitzers are really strong. Actually, I think it's the one in the in the artillery tab that's stronger. But howitzers, yeah, I mean, these can fire at 2,000 meters, and they can fire at 1,500 with 130 mils of pen on the heat shell. This is actually a really good unit. So I definitely think you're going to want to take these, and there's 2 cards available, 3 units in A phase, 45 points. I think this is a worthwhile support gun to take. A lot of the support guns don't get as much love nowadays because they're not 2,000 meter firing support guns. This one is, and it also has the added heat shells to just add on the love, and this one's going to receive a lot of love from me as far as I'm concerned. The commanders, we get the Free French Traction Commandant. We got the Commandant Infantry. They can come in a couple of different transports. And we got the M20 command vehicle as well. Into the anti-tank tab, we've got the Free French Partisans. Now, these can come in the tractions, but they only have Panzerfaust. I think these could come in specialized divisions. I think people that want to go with a specialized rush tactics would probably use these, but I don't think they're massively strong. They're only 10 points, but they're a Panzerfaust, not a Panzerschreck, and the range kind of affects them, and also the kind of the aligning issue with the Panzerfaust is a bit worse. We get access to the bazooka on the 4G GPA, so it can go 100 kilometers per hour, whereas the traction's slightly faster. I think most people will definitely take these bazookas. We get the M3 gun, which is the same gun as that was on that Fargo transport that we saw in the recon tab. This is really good against light vehicles, so I think there is a place for this in the deck. And actually you get a lot of Cannon 57mm, and a Cannon 57mm is really strong. It is really strong. So I think the accuracy and the rate of fire makes it very strong. So I think and you get 5 cards of these, so you're not exactly limited on the amount of these you can take. So really, although you don't get the tanks, the M1 guns that you get access to make the division a lot stronger than it first seems. And you also get the M10 tank destroyer as well in the anti-tank tab, just to add on to those kind of armored vehicles. So I don't think you're as limited as what it first seems with that anti-tank tab. Anti-air, you are limited in slot cost and slot amounts, but I think the Bofors is a very good anti-air unit, so I don't think you're overall that limited when it comes down to it. The problem is it costs you 4 points to fill up both slots, but honestly, if you gave me 2 Bofors guns, I'd be pretty happy with 2 Bofors guns. So it's really only the slot cost, and in a lot of divisions, you know, some of the slot costs are 1, 2, so you could only be paying like 1 extra for 2 Bofors guns. It's not the end of the world. Into the artillery tab, we get the observators, the artillerists, the artillery observers. They can come in the M6 Fargo if you want to get some of these out cheap. We got the battery Führers, the leader artillery leaders. We get the 60mm mortars, which are strong, but they don't have the radios. The mortar 81mm do have the radios, so I would say in this division it's better to pick the 81mm mortars, I think. Although the 60mm mortars at 40 points is very strong. You might want to take both. I mean, it depends what your play style is. You get a lot of cards of these. I think the 81mm mortars, because you get those radios, can be really strong. You do get an off map, but it's on an artillery observer, so it's not that great really. And the off map isn't great either at 105mm. So personally, I wouldn't really take this off map if it's me. You then get the howitzers, and these things, actually I think it was the howitzers with the heat shells that I was talking about earlier that was really strong. These M3 howitzers are really quite strong with those heat shells, so just be aware of that. You can use these kind of in the open. Because it's got the 2,000 meter range on the HE shells, you can kind of get these in the open and use them. The heat shells are strong. Back to the artillery, we got the HM2, the 105mm howitzers. With the radios, they're strong at 75 points cost. I think they're quite strong. And then you get the long toms are at 130 points, but you are forced to take the M4 HST, which is 10 points. So it does kind of bump it up to 140 points, but I don't think 140 points is too expensive, especially when you look at the mortars that are like 190 points in one of the German divisions. So the long toms, I think they're more for team games and especially 10v10 games, but they have radios, so they are really good artillery weapons. Finally, into the air tab. Actually, I was looking forward to this because they've got the British carrier-borne aircraft. We got the F5B1 Lightnings, which are air recon. They're like fast, unarmed air recon. And there could be a place for this. There's lots of slots available and lots of 1 point cost slots as well. There could be a place for this. Not many people would take it, but there might be the odd person that takes it. We get the Seafire, basically the Spitfires, the Seafire recon Mark III with the 2 Hispanos. This is a pretty strong aircraft at just 80 points. You can get 2 of them in A phase. I do think this is a pretty strong aircraft. We get the Wildcat Mark V's. So these are a little bit slower. And the agility is decent, but they only have 450 cows. They're only 80 points. But I don't think they're that great, if I'm honest. They are medium resilience, which is actually not too bad. But I'm not sure about these. I don't have the feeling that they're going to perform amazingly. But the medium resilience and the very good agility makes me think that they might not do too bad. We got the Spitfire Mark 5B. I think trop means tropical for the camo. These come with the 2 Hispanos. So yeah, this is your Spitfire Mark 5B. I mean, you've not got a shortage of fighter aircraft. We get 2 cards of P39Qs. These are really good because they've got the 37 mils in the nose. So these can head on really well. And you can get 3 of them in A phase. I really like these planes. 2 cards available. That's all the fighters done. You get the Spitfire fighter bombers. These are really strong. The fighter bomber loadout is great. 115 points is cheap. You get 2 of them in A phase. I think this is a 100% pick in my eyes. We'll leave the Marauders for now. We'll go through the fighter bombers. You got the Hellcats, which are like the non-fighter variants of the Wildcats from the looks of it. No, they're slightly bigger. I don't know my Hellcats too well. These carry 2 454 kilogram bombs. So you basically got a 1,000 kilogram bomb really here. With 6 Brownings, medium resilience. They're not too bad. You don't really want to get it into fights, but the bomber load isn't too bad. You got a lot of slots here and a lot of cheap activation points, so I could definitely see this being used with the loadout. You only get 1 in A though. What else do we get? We get the P-47 Thunderbolt with the 227 kilogram bomb loadout. That's actually a really weak loadout. When you compare that to a Spitfire, that's really weak. And the cost is 15 points more than a Spitfire. The speed is only slightly faster. The agility is way worse. The resilience is medium, but the armament isn't that much better. I don't think these P-47s are that good, really. But I'm not complaining because I think the division overall is pretty strong, so I don't want these buffed. We get the Hellcats with the tank rockets, the anti-tank rockets. So you got an anti-tank rocket plane. And then we got the Thunderbolts with a better loadout here. This is more what I'm talking about. Look at that, 15 points more. And you get basically an extra 1,000 kilograms of bombs. Really? 900 kilograms of bombs for 15 points. You're going to take these P-47s all day long. I guess the one advantage of this card is you get 3 of them in A. I still don't think you're going to be taking it. All right, and then on to the heavy bombers. We got the B-26 G25MA Marauders. Very good resilience. The French, they've always got these very good resilience bombers. And the B-26 bomber is going to be really strong. I know it now. I just played against the other French division. The other, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, I just played against the other French division, like the previous game that I played of Steel Division 2, and his sea phaser just got spammed by Boston Bombers, and I just didn't have the AA to deal with it. I did win the game in the end, but yeah, they were a bit of a nightmare to shoot down. And the B-26, they're going to be no different. The resilience being very good, they're going to be really hard to shoot down. I think 350 kilometers per hour is not as fast as the Boston Bombers, so they are a little bit slower. But yeah, I mean, they've got 8 227 kilogram bombs. That's a pretty decent loadout. And then this one's basically got 2,000 kilogram bombs, 1,800 kilograms worth of bombs. So this one's going to be really not too nice to deal with. And I reckon players will take, you can get 3 cards of these. And honestly, if I was playing this deck, I'd take all 3 cards of these. Depending on my income curve, if I was playing maybe a Vanguard Maverick, I might not take them all. But if I'm playing balanced, 100% I'm taking all of those cards. They're just really good bombers. Let's just quickly look into the defense. They don't really have anything too exciting. They do get the M1 gun in the bunker, but nothing too special. So that was the French division. Do I think it's going to be strong in 1v1? Yeah, I think it actually is going to be strong. And I think it will sit in the meta for a little while. I think there's going to be, I don't think it's going to be like strong for every player. I think there are limitations here with the tanks and that you can get the armored vehicles, but they do have decent anti-tank options with the 5 M1 guns and the number of bazookas you can get, especially in the infantry tab as well. And you also can get some recon bazookas here with the African commandos, and you've got a great air force as well. I think this is going to be more of a, you know, a division that someone that likes infantry divisions, that is an aggressive player, they are going to like this division. So I definitely see it having a place in the quick play and the ranked queue, and also in competitive, to be honest. I think it is going to be a little bit of a more specialized division for, not rather than in situations like map specialization. Well, I definitely think it's worthwhile in heavy forests from that infantry tab, but I would say player specialization as well. So if a player plays this division really well, gets very well skilled at it, I can see it being a very strong division. In team games, I think in small team games like 2v2 to 4v4, I think it's going to be pretty strong because of the air choices that you can get. But in 10v10, air is nowhere near as strong because the AA just builds up from all the players. So I don't really see this being a really strong 10v10 division. The artillery is still pretty good though, so it is, you know, it's not awful. It's definitely not awful, but I don't see it as like a really amazing 10v10 division. In terms of my favourite unit, this is actually a tough one. This division gets so many unique units, and especially unique infantry units as well. The division just gets so many of those. Let me just have a quick flick through. Nothing off the top of my head kind of made me pick a favourite unit. I definitely like these M3 howitzers. These are really good, having used them, but I don't think I'm going to pick them as my favourite unit. I really like these African commandos, but again, I'm not 100% sure about picking them as my favourite unit. I think I'm going to pick the Legion Sapeurs-Pionniers for these beards. Let's face it, I mean, look at these awesome beards that these guys get. They've all got awesome beards. Like this must be a requirement. In order to serve in this squad with the double flamethrowers, you have to have an awesome beard. That's what it seems like, doesn't it? You've got to have like one of the prerequisites is you've got to grow a fantastic beard to be in this squad. So yeah, for that definite reason, because at first I thought it was just like 1 or 2 people that had beards, but all of them have got amazing beards. So this is definitely my favorite unit of this division. Hopefully you've enjoyed the run through and the first look at the divisions. I'm going to try and get some gameplay versus the AI. Obviously it is in early access and a lot of the other strike team players will kick my ass in 1v1, so I might actually play against the AI and just give you a feel for the divisions. Plus that actually makes it much quicker and easier to put the videos together, to be honest. and I'll try and get those videos out. The release date for the DLC is on Thursday. I've got a giveaway in my Discord, so make sure to head into the description, head into the giveaways channel. That's going to be drawn on Wednesday night, so you're going to know beforehand if you won that or not. So make sure you take your chance and head into that and join the giveaway. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below. Let me know your favourite unit, and let me know about both of the divisions now you've seen them. Which one's going to be your favourite? Which one are you going to want to use the most? Thanks very much for watching. I am Alpha Bird. I will see you next time.